everybody. Welcome back to the Daily Aztec Debrief. I'm your host, Jalen Vega, who's usually your co-host, but I am not here without my friend Rami. And actually, we haven't been together in a really long time. Have you ever seen the two of us in the same room at the same time? Just food for thought. Anyway, I have a very special interview for you today, and you'll see that right now. Hey guys, welcome back to the Daily Aztec Debrief. I'm here with another very special guest, this time representing the theater department at SDSU. Welcome, Ashley.
Hello, I'm Ashley. I'm Ashley Roche. I'm a musical theater major, and I just played Carrie in the musical Carrie that the Musical Theatre Club just put on a production of.
Yeah, and I saw it, and it was really great. I loved it. I always try and go opening night, because I know tickets always go so fast.
Yeah.
But for a little bit of context for our audiences, what's, like, the difference between just, like, theater, musical theater, plays, musicals, that kind of thing?
Yeah. Plays, just general theater is usually just straight plays. There's not, like, singing and dancing and music involved. Obviously, there's, like, sound components and stuff like that, but musicals are, like, what's, like, the Broadway, like, Hamilton, just to name the, like, most famous ones.
Yeah.
Hamilton, like, Wicked, like, where there's songs throughout the show that the characters sing to move the story along, and that's what I do the most of, because I've been, like, singing my whole life, and then once I started getting into theater, I was like, oh, you can combine the two. And then, yeah, so that's like, the main thing I do.
Cool. Do you, like, in your experience, why do some people fall towards, like, theater and some people fall towards musical theater?
I think it's really interesting, because some people that love doing theater, like, hate musical theater. Like, there's some people that are such theater lovers that are like, I hate musicals, like, the music, like, ruins it, and it's all cheesy, and it's like, well, yeah, like, they're like, why are we singing out of nowhere? And it's like, well, yes, but it just adds another, like, it's a different form of storytelling. It's just, and if some people enjoy that, some people feel that the music and singing enhances the storytelling, and it's like, it, furthers the story, and it, like, the music adds, like, more emotion and a deeper element, but some people feel like it just takes them out of it. Like, as soon as someone starts singing, they're like, well, now I'm not in the story anymore, because why are we singing?
Yeah.
Like, it's not realistic. So some people prefer plays because it's more realistic. It's more just telling a story how it is in real life when we're not dancing and singing out of nowhere and stuff.
Yeah. So you started off singing. When did you start singing, and then when did you go into musical theater?
I've been singing since I was, like, as long as I can remember, really. Like, I'd been doing, like, the talent shows and stuff since, like, kindergarten. Like, the second I could, like, start singing and performing and stuff, I was doing it, but I didn't really my dad acted for, like, a lot of his life, and then my sister, when she got into high school, she started doing theater in high school, and I was still just singing. Like, I was like, I wanted to be a pop star. Like, I was like, I want to be Billie Eilish. Like, that was my whole thing. But then once I got into high school, I decided to audition for, like, the plays and musicals, and I, like, did a play first, and that was really fun, and then I did a musical, and then I was like, this is, like, perfect. Like, I learned that I really enjoyed acting when I did the play, and then doing a musical, I was like, oh my god, best of both worlds, combining, like, these things that I love. And then I decided to major in it, and then now here I am.
Cool. I love that. What was your first musical that you were in?
I mean, besides, like, the random ones that, like, my elementary school had, like, the whole class doing, in high school, it was School of Rock, which is interesting for a high school to do, because it's, like, the characters are all either fully grown adults playing teachers or parents, or, like, 10-year-olds,
Yeah.
and, like, high schoolers are right in the middle of that, and, like, don't fit either way.
Yeah.
So that was like, it was, and then also like the kids are supposed to be really good at playing instruments like live, but like our actors didn't know how to play instruments, so we had to like just fake playing guitar and then have the actual band in the back playing. So that was a little bit of a goofy production, but it was really fun. Like that's the whole thing is like, even when I've been in shows that I'm like, it wasn't the best final product, it's still like, I had a lot of fun almost every time.
Yeah,
so.
just the experience of being with like all of these people for such a short duration of time, but like all of the time during those months.
Yeah.
It really is like, it is like the essence of just what community is.
Mm-hmm.
But so as a musical theater major, what does like your classes look like?
It's so funny. It's just so funny when I hear other people and like the work that they're doing, and then
I get it.
Yeah, and then I'm like, oh, I have to go sing in class right now. Like my homework is to like be ready to sing a song in class, and then like right now I'm in a musical theater performance class, so that's just like we pick a song that we work on for like a few weeks and then like perform it in class like a final time and get graded. And then I'm in a dance class, and that's just like show up and dance, and then every so often we have like a written reflection, but it's really not a lot of homework. Like this major's more like the time that is spent is like in the classes doing the work rather than like outside written homework or like rehearsal time. Like if you're in a show, like the time that other majors spend doing homework, I'm spending in rehearsal every day. And then what else? An acting class, again, just more performing, like just working on scenes and stuff. Like it's not a lot of, and it's so easy to be like, oh my God, like you're just singing and dancing, like you're not doing anything, but it is still very time consuming, and it's still like stressful to have to be like memorized for all these things, and performing's always like vulnerable and scary. So
and physical too, like you know, you can't like show up to like rehearsals sick and like perform your best, whereas like you can still show up to a test and like have a headache and like push through it for the allotted amount of time.
Yeah, it really is very like physical compared to any other like lectures or stuff like that where you're just sitting in the back the whole time. You don't have to talk sometimes for an entire class. It's like in most of my classes I have to stand up in front of a bunch of people almost every time and like talk or sing or perform, or like, or for dancing, like be moving my whole body and dancing and like doing all this stuff. So yeah, definitely like very physical. But it's a lot of fun. It's very tiring, but it's a fun type of tiring for me.
Yeah. So when it comes to when you're like in a show, what does your day look like? Like how long are rehearsals? How many days a week are you in rehearsals? And like what's the turnaround for production?
Rehearsals are typically 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Thursday. And then it's usually about like a month and a half to like 2 months for the amount of time that we have to like work on the show, from like first rehearsal to like opening. And then but the week before, or like the week of opening, rehearsals then become 5 to 10. And it's again like that's like other people doing homework and stuff, like in all those hours, that's like me at rehearsal and stuff, like, but that's it like has its balance, because if I had a ton of homework, I wouldn't be able to be doing like that much rehearsal and stuff. But it's fun. I mean, and you're also not called for every rehearsal sometimes because they work on different things, like especially in Carrie, I was not in all the big dance numbers and stuff, and so the days that they would be working on those big dance numbers, like I got that day off. So most people are not called for every single rehearsal, but still like
a good majority. Yeah. Do your like theater classes typically align with the schedule, like knowing that like, hey, this is typically when rehearsals are?
Yeah, they don't have most theater classes are don't go late. They're all like early in the day because
Gotcha.
they know like most students are going to be involved in productions and stuff. So there's no classes that like I think there's no classes like that
That are mandatory that go later.
That go
Yeah.
into that time. It's all just like because sometimes people do have like classes that go later and have to like show up late, but those are typically like GEs and stuff that they're taking.
Is it required for you guys to be in a production outside of your classes, or like just highly encouraged?
It's required for general or theater performance majors because there's like different specific majors. Like there's youth theater majors, like different stuff. But theater performance majors, which is what I was before I changed to musical theater major, they're required to be in at least one play, one like main stage play. And then yeah, there's a difference between like what I just did with Carrie was like a club student led production, and then there's like the main stage productions that the actual department puts on, that like is directed and led by professors usually, or like actual higher ups and not just students. Carrie was like all student led, and those don't count for anything, but you do have to be in a like department main stage show, at least one. And then musical theater majors have to be in at least one musical, like main stage musical.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Cool. And what does the audition process like look like? Like, do they know that you're like a major and you need to get like casted in a role, or?
Yeah, I think, I mean, like, I don't know if they have out like your whole, like if you've been in a show or not before, like if they know that. They're trying, I think, more because sometimes there's people that like didn't like wasn't in a show yet and they're in their senior year, so then like that's more of a like, oh, we have to cast this person.
So it's just once throughout the entire.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I feel like that's super manageable.
Yeah,
then.
for sure. But they're trying to like really make sure that everybody gets that requirement in. I mean, it shouldn't be. I'm like, if you're the major, I would assume
you would
you'd
hope.
want to like be in a show.
Yeah.
And not be like pushing it off. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, some people like they choose this major, but like people that are double majors with this, I'm like,
Yeah.
that's crazy to me. And like being doing other things outside of this, it's like people that are a theater major and they're also like in a sorority or frat. I'm like, how the time commitments? It's just crazy. But yeah, the audition process, the theater performance majors are required to, there's an audition at the start of every semester for like the plays, the shows that semester. There's usually like 1 to 2 main stage shows, and so the students are required to audition. And then now it's just been an added thing that if they get cast, they have to do it, like unless they have a very
good reason
not to, or if they let them know the semester before that they're not going to be doing, like that they can't do a show in the next semester. But now they're getting pretty strict with like having kids like
committed
do it.
Yeah.
And then yeah, same with musical theater. Musical theater majors are required to audition. Everyone is allowed to go to these auditions, but if you're these specific majors, it's required. So I'm no longer required to do the main stage auditions that are just for plays, but I am required still to do the musical audition. And those, it's usually like you sing to like contrasting songs, like minute and a half, and it's really quick because a lot of people are auditioning. It's like a long process. But yeah, it's usually just, sometimes there's callbacks, sometimes there's not, sometimes it's just the audition and then they like send out like casting, and yeah.
So I've seen you both in Chicago last year when you were Roxy, and now this year with Carrie and Carrie. And those are very different characters, like emotionally so different.
Yeah.
How do you navigate playing such different roles?
That was like all I was thinking about when I got Carrie. I was like, this is so different than any role I've played and any it's just so, I'm typically like typecast as like, which Roxy isn't even this, but like the edgy, like mean girl, like cool, edgy girl. And, but like Roxy at least it has a little bit more of like the confidence of that. But Carrie is just like so opposite. Like people told me that they thought like I had a good shot at being the mean girl in Carrie, and like I also was like, yeah, I'd love to play her. That would be so fun. But obviously I was also going for Carrie, and then getting it, I was so excited, but I was also so scared because I was like, this is a big challenge. It's so different from the roles I've played. It's so, I don't know. I think I really just had to like study the script and study how she responds like in the dialogue to all these each person and stuff, and like figure out her relationship to all the characters, and think about the context of why she's so shy and terrified, and like, and the bullying and harassment is just insane.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I was like, if people were throwing tampons at me, like, if people were being this, which happens in the show, if people were being that horrible, like, yeah, I probably would never want to talk at school.
Yeah.
So I was just, like, trying to really put myself in the situation of, like, yeah, if this happened, I wouldn't want to talk. So it makes sense why this character doesn't talk at all and, like, is so scared all the time, because it's just, and then with an abusive mom, it's just like, it just feels like anywhere she goes, she's ready for someone to do something like horrible to her.
Yeah.
So it's like, just that fear was like the main driving thing, I think.
Do you ever like feel when you're auditioning for like characters that don't necessarily like align with what you're usually like casted as, like do you feel like you're taking a gamble sometimes, like in like, oh my gosh, wait, this is so like out of my reach?
Yeah, I did. I felt like, because I really wanted to get Carrie, but I did feel like, especially people kept being like telling me like, I feel like you'd be such a good Chris, who's the mean girl, and I was like, yeah, I agree. I feel like that's like the role that I typically like go towards and I'm like seen as, and that wanting to like be Carrie, I was like, I don't know if I am even gonna be seen as this because of the other characters that like the school has seen me play, like this, all these other people and stuff, like the roles that they've typically seen me play aren't this. So I'm like, in that audition, I really was like, I need to show and prove that I can be seen as this like timid, shy person that nobody wants to talk to, that nobody likes, that is just like very different from me. I had to like prove that. So I was hoping I could. And like, I mean, I showed up to the audition like in an outfit that was like what Carrie wears. Like I showed up in clothes that weren't even how I dress at all. Like I was really trying to, which some people might say that's ridiculous and stupid, but I mean,
you gotta sell it.
I was like, I need them to see that I'm not like, I can be not me, and I can be very far from me, and I guess it worked.
Yeah. So you are nearing the end of this program, correct? Like, are you a third year or fourth year?
I'm a third year.
You're a third year. Okay, so I mean, you're still upper division. You're getting there. Do you have any advice for younger people who, do you need to declare, is this an impacted major where you have, I mean, you have to audition to get into the major, right?
Yeah, you do.
What's your advice to incoming freshmen, or like, what's your call to action to them?
I would say, I think just like knowing your like talent and your worth, and like being strong in that, because there's so many freshmen that I've seen this year. Carrie was like full of freshmen, and there's so many that are so talented, but they just like, I can see that they don't believe that yet, and they don't see that in themselves, and they're still so scared. And it's like, yeah, I get it. When you're first coming into this new place, it's like you know, you don't want to be cocky either. Like, you don't want to, you feel you're like the runt of the school right now. But I really feel like if you, whether it's just you're still auditioning to get into the school or you're here and you're at auditions, just like having the confidence in like knowing that you're good, knowing that you can get the roles that you want. And it's really just about confidence. I mean, they always say that in like all our classes. You walk into the audition room and they can immediately tell if you're not believing in yourself and not thinking that you're good, or if you walk in with confidence, like your chances are so much different. So yeah, I think just you're probably better than you think you are, and like you need to trust that and know that. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you for being here today. I
Yeah.
really appreciate talking to you, and I feel like I have a better glimpse into the theater department here at SDSU.
Yeah.
So I hope, hopefully, audiences, you do too. And if you have any questions, you'll be able to contact Ashley if you really wanted to. We'll at you in our little thing. Because obviously, I mean, I feel like you're so grounded in this field and industry. I mean, I remember watching you as Roxy, and I was like, dang, like that's Roxy. Like that is, like I was
Thank
just
you.
yeah. And same with like Carrie. Like it's two such different characters. I was like, wow. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in this week, and we'll see you next week.